Now it is my pleasure to introduce Benedetto Conversano. Benedetto is a former global CIO, an independent AI strategy advisor who is here to talk to us about what he's seeing in the industry and best practices around AI adoption across the technology industry. So it's my great pleasure to welcome Benedetto to the stage. Welcome, Benedetto.
Thank you, Bob.
Well, and after the English and the American accent, now you need to stay with the Italian one. This is going to be fun. The story today starts with a boy. A boy that is playing in the garden of the house of his grandmother. And he breaks his leg. It's a disaster. It's the worst day of his life. He believes he's not going to walk anymore, run anymore, play anymore with his friends. He goes to the hospital and he comes back home with a cast that forces him to stay in bed for 3 months. And what he does during these 3 months, he starts to learn how to code. And because he's a boy, what is he coding? Video games. And what do you have to put in video games to make them fun? You have to start putting some AI. So this boy starts the journey of his life. He graduates in computer science and electronic engineering. And after a couple of decades, this boy becomes chief information officer in a major corporation around the world. So that boy is in front of you today. But what I'm going to do with you today is not so much to talk about my career, but we will fast forward to October 2024. What happened in October 2024? I was a group chief information officer at Diageo, one of the FTSE 10 company. And after having implemented and worked on a lot of AI system in my career, I took what I thought was a very important decision, which is take time off to go and get proper education about AI. Why? Because what had happened a few months before with the release of OpenAI, I thought was going to be something really unprecedented. So I took this time off, and I will tell you what were my first discovery in October 2024. Everybody was playing with ChatGPT. And I remember I was talking with an executive, a business executive at that time. I was saying, what do you think about generative AI? And the answer I got was, I don't need anything to help me to write my email. Well, what I learned during that week was something that really was groundbreaking for me. I was a business executive. One of my most important priorities was the professional health and work satisfaction of my people. And what I was able to do using a custom GPT was to create a digital image of the population of my organization, up to thousands of people. And I was able to use this digital image to test the hypothesis to improve their satisfaction at work using the anonymized work satisfaction service that I got. And this was for me unprecedented. Another thing that I learned during that week was starting to play with avatars. Now, we are talking about October 2024, and I was absolutely amazed how producing a video of myself of 2 minutes and let the model be trained during night for 12, 14 hours. After that, I could use an avatar that was speaking multi-languages and doing perfect movement of my lips in all the languages that I wanted to communicate with my organization. And this is what I was using to inspire and evangelize about AI. Still in October 2024, something came out which was called DAL-E, which was one of the first prototype generated by OpenAI that was able to generate images through text. Now, what you see here is a gift card that I produced in October 2024 to send best wishes to a friend for her birthday. And this image was used with a poem. Now, if you see there, the letters in the image are very, very unreadable, because that was how the technology was working in October 2024. But still, it was amazing that we could produce an image with text. In October 2024, a guy that now is very famous, but not many people knew him at that time, Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic, wrote this essay. It's about 50 pages. It's a wonder. And the title of the essay is Machines of Loving Grace. And what Dario Amodei says to the world is, well, if you think that AI is about writing an email, now I tell you what AI can do to the world. The impact that AI can generate on biology, medicine, pharmaceutical, and many other important science that can change the life of humankind for good is incredible. And one of the most important things that I think Dario Amodei said, even if nobody believed him, is how it's going to improve the satisfaction of human being at work, giving a highest sense of purpose. Of course, this paper was highly criticized in 2024, and is still very criticized now. Now, November, I'm still in my executive capacity, and I go to Chicago for the annual Ignite event run by Microsoft. For those who are not familiar, it's where basically Microsoft makes the show of all the new product and feature that they have. And I had the pleasure and privilege, being a CIO, to have a presentation by Satya Nadella about the new functionality of Copilot. And when I asked him, is Copilot finally ready to take away the time that I need to invest in managing my email inbox, his answer was, well, we are not there yet. Okay? Let's move on. This is February 2025. And La Repubblica, I know there are some Italians in the room and online, one of the major Italian newspaper is publishing this interview with Giorgio Parisi, who is a Nobel Prize for Physics. And what Giorgio Parisi says is like, AI, what are you going to do with that? I had a conversation with AI, and I was able to convince it that 4 times 5 makes 24. So a lot of skepticism. So the big question in the industry is it another hype at that time? And here you can see RFID, blockchain, metaverse, NFT, Second Life. How many technologies have been released during the last decades that had promised so much benefit and so little have delivered? So probably AI is going to be another of that, all right? Still, there is some fear that is coming out in the world, which is AI going to take my job? And here you can see, some attempt to say, hey, there are actually jobs that we can protect. You cannot construct a building with AI, and you cannot deliver a massage. But these type of advertising are the symptom of fear that is breaking in society and organization. Another big question at that time is, where is the ROI? Okay? Many companies are starting to invest money in AI in some sort of ways and form. Some because they believe in it, some because they have to do it because everybody's doing. And then we are watching this big technology giant, who are busy creating a false economy because everybody is buying multi-billion contract services from each other, but nobody is delivering any outcome. So where is the ROI? This is going to be a big crash. Well, in May 2025, Dario Amodei releases Claude version 4. And this is a breakthrough improvement in the history of technology because The big idea is that, well, if generative AI can create text, why don't we use it to create code? And here is then we start talking about vibe coding. Well, is vibe coding working? Yes, it's very intriguing. But I tell you, if you did it at that time, you were going to be extremely excited for what vibe coding can produce on sort of simple software. But when you start making it bigger and bigger and bigger, you basically start hitting the wall and the stuff becomes absolutely unusable. But that was May 2025. Another big thing that we talk at that time is a new word, is AI agent and agentic AI, which means, well, with an LLM, you can have a conversation, but you can't do more than that. So with an agent, you basically give the possibility to an LLM to produce something, to do something. You can book a plane, you can pay, you can do stuff, right? And with agentic AI, you can have an orchestration of many agents that can do work collaborating with each other. And that, of course, starts raising a lot of questions about how the future of work is going to be in big organizations, right? Big discussion. Now, we come to the crucial point. September 2025, I make one of the major decisions of my life. I decide to leave the executive career. And the reason why I do that, because everything that I had learned and observed and implemented during my executive career tells me, in my gut, I've seen this for 40 years, that is going to be really something very, very big. So what I do as one of the first stuff that I started to build myself, as you can see here, I did create my agent that is still working today, that is reading every morning 15 digital newspapers and is creating a common view of what is really happening in the world, trying to understand the common fact and divergent opinions. And at that time, you know, it works. It started to have a lot of hallucination. It was confusing the President of the United States with the Pope, that it was happening. Still, I think today, there is one of the two that is confused on who is who. Hey, but you have to experiment. That was my point. I want to do things by myself and start to see what these things really is. November 2025, an extremely important moment. The unseen revolution, how artificial intelligence is redefining cancer care. This is a paper written by two doctors, Dr. Flora and Dr. Maniago, and posted on a very prestigious medicine journal in the US. And these two doctors say something incredible, really revolutionary. What they say is that today we have all the building blocks that we need in order to make a breakthrough improvement in diagnosis and therapy of cancer. And the only reason why we are not doing it is because we still don't believe in it. And we are, I have underlined here in the paper the word courage, we don't have the courage to change and to embrace the new ways of working. But the positive impact that this can do to humanity is incredible. Looking back at the paper of Dario Amodei that he was talking about, the machine of loving grace. Let's move on. Well, December 2025, Zoom releases AI Companion 3.0. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is because it's another breakthrough approach. There is a paper in the literature of AI that talks about the ensemble concept. Now, that is French, so it's even more difficult for me to pronounce. And what the ensemble concept means is that you get the best from AI when you leverage different LLMs. And so one of the questions that I've heard many people asking so often is, what is the best LLM? Well, there is nothing like the best LLM. It's like if you ask what's the best screwdriver. It depends what you want to do. And so what Zoom has delivered is basically with the AI Companion 3.0 is the capability to make a choice of which LLM to use to respond to the prompt that is inputted by the user. And therefore, it gives you the best answer possible out of what is out there. In January 2026, Zoom releases Clips. And look at that. You remember I said in October 2024, you needed 2 minutes of your video to create an avatar and 12 hours to process it to train the model. With Zoom Clips, you need in about 20 seconds of your video, and you have an avatar ready in 5 minutes. 12 hours in October 2024, 5 minutes in January 2026. And therefore, taking away a lot of concerns about the energy consumption and the data center footprint that is needed in order to support AI. Now, January 2026, Dario Amodei comes out with his second essay. Is the adolescent of technology. Now, with the first one, he was talking about all the good things that AI can do for humanity. With this one, he gives a completely different perspective. He continues to believe, of course, in all the positive impact that AI can do to humanity, but with this essay, he comes with the other side of the coin. That is, AI is an extremely powerful technology. It's like nuclear energy. But the difference with nuclear energy is that not everybody can use it, and AI, everybody can use it. And so he makes a call of responsibility to the world, which means government, governance institutions, business people, CEOs, executives, to put in place the right guardrails and mitigation in the regulation so that AI can really do good for the world. Let's move on. February 2026. And here is another breakthrough moment. Anthropic releases 4.6. And this is insanely good. Insanely good. All the issues of software development that were with the previous release have basically been resolved. There is no wall anymore. You can produce as complex software as you want, and it will work. And that's why we have a new platform, OpenClaw, has been just released a few months before, and in February 2026 is acquired by OpenAI. What is OpenClaw? Is the most interfaceable agent platform that you can build. You don't need to anymore build agent by yourself, but if you use that platform, you basically can interface with anything you want out there and create something that does actually things on your behalf. Extremely powerful. It goes super viral in China. Now, what all this generates? In the first couple of weeks of February 2026, we lose $2 trillion of market capitalization in the industry. $2 trillion. Why? Because all the industry of software as a service is threatened by the new capability of AI as a combination of code production and agentic. And there is this guy who's called Andrea Pignataro that writes this essay. This is much smaller than the one of Dario Amodei. It's not the 50 pages. This you can swallow with, I think, less than 10 pages, that talks about the wrong apocalypse. And he says, well, if you believe that these 2 trillion have been damaged the economy, look what's going to happen now with professional services. And so it's a big concern about the impact that it's going to have in the industry. Now, 2026, I score a point to Satya Nadella. What you see here is actually my personal agent that delivers the dream of my life. I can manage my email without reading it anymore. My agent is doing it for me and is constantly scanning my personal email and trashing email or archiving email or responding email and introducing itself like I am the AI assistant of Benedetto Conversano. And he responds exactly in the way I want, and then delivers to me a WhatsApp message in my phone where I can just keep control of what it's doing. Let's step back and look a little bit at the big picture of what's happening in the industry. Therefore, based on all these events and this release of product, what has really happened in the industry? Look at this. AI is the fastest scaling software category ever in the industry. $37 billion invested in 2025, and this you see how much this has been increasing. What's going to happen in 2026? We're going to see it very soon. Why is this happening? Because of the level of confidence that the board, executive are basically feeling about the technology that is true, has not delivered an ROI yet that can impact the P&L, and nobody says that. But hey, we can see, we can touch whatever is doing. Level of confidence is increasing, and therefore, this is how organizations are going to act. Now, we talked about loss of job. Look at this. Gartner has analyzed in 2025 1.4 million of job losses, and studied that only 1% was due to AI. Companies, displace job all the time, but what exactly was caused by AI during 2025? Only 1%. While, in the meantime, in England NHS, 1 out of 3 of chest x-rays is AI assisted. And why is that? Because the percentage of accuracy of a diagnosis done with an AI-assisted chest ray is 20% higher than when done by the doctor alone. And look what is happening in the field of drug production. 20% higher success rate when it's AI-assisted in terms of success rate. We can cut almost by half the time to market, and cost reduction almost by 70%. Incredible. Now, let's try to reach, let's say, the end of this conversation. You remember the gift card, the one that I did in October 2024. Now, a few days ago, actually, for this presentation, I put exactly the same prompt, and here's the picture that I got. Look at the text. Is incredibly better, is basically perfect. That is the poem that I've used in 2024 and now to create the picture. Hallucination, well, I can tell you, my daily newsletter, where you can subscribe, doesn't confuse anymore character and pictures and name and capital and geography, is close to perfect. This improvement has happened in 18 months. 18 months that have basically changed the history of technology. And for those who are younger in the room or online, let me give you a perspective. SAP development. I've been in technology all my life, and I've done so many SAP implementation. It took 13 years to SAP to go from release 2 to release 3. It took 23 years to SAP to go from release 3 to release 4. There have been major upgrades, but 13 years, 23 years, and good luck if you are doing a migration these days between R3 and S4. It's going to probably take between 4 and 5 years versus 18 months. Incredible, groundbreaking. So if we step back and we look this in the context of change, we are probably going through one of the most important changes that has been impacting humankind. And what happens when humankind goes through changes? We usually go through these phases. The phase one is denial. No, this is not happening, right? It is not happening. It's like 4 by 5 makes 24. This is absolutely doesn't work. Or hallucination, full of hallucination. I'm never going to read something written by AI. There is no ROI. We're wasting our money. No, denial. But then we start moving into frustration, which is like fear. It's like, oh my God, what is this doing to me? We're going to lose job. It's going to be an apocalypse. While at the same time, there are some very nice signal of what can happen that is good. The level of confidence is going high. The positive impact on health, biology, medicine is tangible. That's the inspiration part. So where are we? We are in the middle. We are definitely in the middle. I remember the story of the boy that broke his leg. He thought the worst thing had happened to him. Actually, the best thing had happened to him because he developed the passion of his life. He learned to code, and he made something out of it. So when something happens, is it good or is it bad? Well, it's what we make out of it. So today, Zoom AI Option Day is a call for action. Is which side do we want to be? We can make out of this something extremely good for our organization, even the ones that are more conservative. The question is, can you stay and do nothing? And I will leave you with the words of this wise man who said, the only thing that evil needs to succeed is for the good man to do nothing. Thank you.